All right, welcome back to Overdunk, everybody, your favorite competitive Pokemon Unite podcast. My name is Zoinks, joined here as always by Bridget, and today we have an extremely special guest coming onto the episode. I think technically coming back to the show. It's been a minute since we last had him on the show, but this man needs no introduction, but I'll give it anyways. The two-time world champion, two-time grand finals MVP, proud father of one. We got Overlord on the show. Welcome, my friend. So good to have you. Overlord, how you been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing good. I feel like recently, I guess, been had a good time playing the game again. I think I
Good.
lost
Nice.
a lot of that spark, a lot of the motivation with everything that happened last season. But everything that's been going on the last couple of months has definitely been really nice. So
That's
change the
awesome.
pace.
That's really good to hear. Coming back to the game a little bit, a little more energy. That's sweet, dude. I'm really happy to hear that. And success has not been far away from you. Not often in your career has success been that far off from you, but you guys have been crushing it this season. A championship at LAIC already, and then you won this most recent monthly here at January Cup. Pretty sick run already. We're going to be talking a lot more in this interview about what went down at January Cup, because that's largely what this episode is about. But seeing as we got you here on the episode again, I think last time we had you was year one. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to ask some more questions about you, learn a little bit more about you before we get into that kind of stuff. So my first question to you has been, have you always been so competitive? I got the chance to talk to you at LAIC a little bit, learned a little bit about you. You apparently played like insanely competitive travel hockey, which is really cool. I heard you were like between the pipes, you were a keeper. That's sick. You also obviously are the first Pokemon Unite world champion to ever play the game with 4 other players, but pretty sick. And then you also, in the most like preseason, I guess, of Marvel Rivals, you were top 500 on the leaderboard. You're a grinder when it comes to video games, sport. Did you just come out the womb competing with people? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely started when I was young for sure with all the sports that I used to play.
Cool.
But yeah, I guess I just carried that on with video games as well. But I feel like, yeah, if there's something that like I really want to do, I just put all of my effort towards trying to achieve that or trying to do something. So it just turns out I'm just always really competitive in everything.
Not a
That's
bad
good.
thing.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I wasn't here, but apparently, last time you were here, Zoinks asked you about your favorite or best Unite memory, and you said the 3 to 5K at Worlds Year 1. Obviously, this is probably still a highlight, but do you have any other favorite or best memories from since then?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I can remember like any like crazy plays I've had in game, like
Yeah, that's okay.
crazy games. But I guess I would say like, I guess recently, yeah, I guess winning like LIC was
Yeah.
Yeah.
was definitely something special because I just got off of like a basically a season of I think like not winning anything. I'm pretty sure I placed
Dang.
I put it in my tweet. I'm pretty sure I placed second in like what like 4 or 5 months in a row or
it was
something
a long run
in
of
NA
seconds.
tourneys. It was all yeah, it was a lot of second places, but yeah, I don't know. Just winning LIC again, definitely, gave us a lot of confidence, especially,
Cool.
being back on with my old teammates Karius and Slash. It's definitely something special for sure.
That's awesome. If you had to rank so let's rank your big ones, obviously, like your in-persons. So if you had to rank them, if you had Worlds Year 1 in London, the first ever World Championship, Worlds in Yokohama, like Japan, and then LAIC, you like take down the hometown crowd in front of their own region. What's first, second, and third for coolest memory?
Oh man, I mean, it's so tough because like they're all like special in their own way, I guess. But
Sure.
I'd say like probably winning Worlds the second time
Cool.
is still like
Nice.
one of the craziest feelings, just because it was in Japan. That's probably like the biggest crowd I've ever played in.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that our run, like I guess we were like the only like team from the West still. I
Literally.
think I made it to day 2, I believe, right? I think the rest were all teams from like APAC and in Asia, Japan, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the LIC is kind of like our redemption story. Um, And then I guess like winning worlds the first time was definitely like something special, but I feel like it was too not like I feel like I just didn't like appreciate it enough. I guess if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Mm,
You know, it was
Yeah.
like the first time I won, you know, and I didn't really like I guess truly appreciate for what it was.
Hmm. Yeah. And there was no draft. That's like a whole new thing.
Yeah, that's
That's like
you
another,
enjoy
another part of
blind pick remote flip?
it. Hey, the only blind pick remote world champion to play the game. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
You
Yeah,
can
it's
hold
true.
on to that. Okay, I want to ask this one because I'm going to give Bridget the first one on January finals. So, it's no secret. I think you're the front runner for the best in the world conversation. I mean, you got the achievements to back it up. You pass the eye test every tournament we watch you play. It's so sick, so fun. You're easily one of my favorite players to cast in the entire world. But when it comes to best in the world on a specific Pokemon, do you think that there is any Pokemon that you think that there's truly no one better in the world than you at? Like, are you the master of any mod? It can be multiple, anything like that. Or do you think you're kind of jack of all trades, but maybe the master of none?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's like an interesting question because I think like historically, you know, there was times where like I would probably consider myself to be like you know the best like Zoroark in the world, maybe
Okay.
during like Worlds 2,
Hmm.
maybe like the best like Lucario, Worlds 1 when it was like really meta and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like sometimes like as the characters you know kind of go like out of season a little bit, I'm not like
Hmm.
really practicing them as much.
Sure.
But I feel like yeah, most of the time, like whenever there's like a character that fits my play style, whether it's like the you know the big all arounders or the speedsters with the flashy plays or whatnot. I
Hmm.
feel like whenever I put a lot of time or like practicing into like certain characters, yeah, I'll probably I guess I consider myself to be the best in that character at the
Okay.
time.
Cool. Hey, that's a good mentality to have when you're competing. I like that. Okay, well then let's ask the opposite of that mentality. What's your worst mon in the roles that you play? So in top or jungle, like what's the one that you're like, I should be way better at that mon? uh,
Um,
if you had to lock it in.
Honestly, it would probably be like maybe like some of like the defenders. Honestly, top lane,
Okay.
like maybe like I guess like Lapras specifically.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like every time I look at that character, I'm like, the character should not be this hard. But every time I play it, it just doesn't get the value that I want it to. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna stick to what I'm used to.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, if that's a good one to pick as your worst mod, I think that's about as niche and not often chosen in that role as you could possibly get. So that's a good one to kind of leave by the wayside. I think good stuff. But hey,
Yeah, I'm
I'm not a good Lapras either.
yeah, I'm kind of praying the top lane Lapras doesn't come back like ever.
Yes,
So
please.
surely it won't happen. Surely. Okay. It's been cool to hear about like your journey because you've been in this from literally day one / before UCS even happened.
Mhm.
But we do have a lot of questions about January Cup because it was kind of. I feel like LAIC was your guys' comeback, but this was kind of your NA specific comeback, so to speak. So, how are you guys like feeling as a team going into this tournament? Obviously, I'm sure you guys were wanting to win, but what was kind of maybe like the team mantra or attitude going into this tourney?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'd say like, not like this basically the week of the tourney. We definitely had like a you know like a team chat, a team discussion. Because you know, I mean, we were all like you know really tired of you know obviously getting second place and like
Hmm.
coming up short. But I felt like for our team, it was kind of like we all obviously really wanted to win. Like we all had the drive, we all wanted to win. But I feel like there was just a little bit of like lack of I guess like putting in the efforts to
Hmm.
get there. If that makes sense.
Mm,
Um, you know, it could like stuff happens this season, right? It's hard to like stay completely motivated. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
maybe you have like ego blocking your way as well for improving. But yeah, we definitely had a talk and then we fixed a lot of things,
Hmm.
which you know showed for the tourney as well. But I think another big thing was we were kind of too obsessed with like trying to just counter other teams in NA.
Really?
I think
really?
and like you know like our the first 2 months like our drafts weren't like I don't know. They just didn't feel like LG, if that makes sense. I feel like we
Yeah.
were just
Yeah.
kind of drafting in a way of like trying, you know, counter the enemy team instead of just like well, why don't we just draft what we're good at, and like if we
Yeah.
think we're better with it, then we'll just win, right? I guess
Right.
that's kinda like the mentality. So
Cool. Yeah, that's really good to hear. I actually have a question about you said you had a team talk and like basically we got to get our head out of our ass talk sounds like a little bit. Who on the team prompts those kind of conversations? Like who's the first one to be like, "Listen, guys, like we got to win." Like who's usually the first person in the DMs to be like, "Now's the time."
I mean, honestly, like a lot of the times it's probably me.
Okay. Yeah.
It's mainly I don't know, like just being like who I am like, as a person, just being really competitive with
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, like obviously I'm not always going about. I'm like, going about it perfectly, and
Sure,
telling
sure,
everyone like
sure.
perfectly. Sometimes there's like emotions and everything involved, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean a lot of the times it's just I guess I'm like the first one. I guess it's just like yo, like I want to like push the team to be better. Like yo, we need to lock in. We need to stop trolling. Like
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I think you kind of answered this question a little bit before, but like, so throughout the other tourneys, you were probably playing a little bit too counter draft strategy. Now you're trying to play a little bit more. Any other kind of like pieces from the AOS Cup play-ins or December Cup that you were like, all right, we lost, but we learned this? Like anything, kind of examples you can point to from those last two tournaments, or was that the big highlight? Was like we just got to fix our draft.
um, yeah, I mean that was definitely like the biggest thing was
Mhm.
trying to like draft what we're comfortable on as well. But I guess I don't know. We learned that Garchomp is insanely OP, so
Yeah,
we just abandoned everything.
Yeah, from a Vanguard jump, it's fine.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy even like after it got nerfed.
Yeah, it's still fine.
It's still
Yeah, it
permanent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we were like after the nerf, we're like it's fine. It's probably bad now, and oh, it's definitely not bad. It's definitely still insane.
Yeah.
Wild, very wild. So during January Cup, you guys obviously dropped down into losers after the winners finals. What were kind of like the vibes? Were you telling everyone to lock in? And is coming from loser side actually like the fire? Because I feel like teams seem to be pretty good at resetting the bracket
Yeah.
once they come
Yeah.
back.
I mean, honestly, like in the past, our team, I think might be like the first tourney we've ever won. At least LG has won from the loser side.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Because our team, I mean, we used to just have like a bad. It was kind of just like a vibes. And like if we were winning, we would just win the rest of the day. Like we would just
Mhm.
2-0, 2-0, 2-0, go next. But like if we lost the game, it would just like really, really affect us. I mean, that's what happened like kind of like last year, or was it 2 years ago? When like I think it was March Cup where we didn't make top eight.
Oh.
After we were like one series away, but like we lost the game, and I feel like we were still like I don't know. It affected us a lot, and we definitely like we're not playing as well. But I mean, yeah, we definitely went about it differently. We kind of like looked at the game and looked at like what we could have done better. Because I feel like our immediate response after like losing some games sometimes could have just been like, oh, we should have just drafted this differently, or we should have drafted this differently.
Hmm.
But after the loss, we like sat down and we like looked at the game and looked at what we did wrong, what we could have done better, and like what we need to change, for the tourney. And yeah, I mean the changes seemed to work. I mean our team was a lot more focused.
Yeah. You guys were on fire. You certainly, it felt like you didn't lose confidence at all by going into loser bracket. I mean, Slash went on an interview and said that the only thing he's sad about is how long it's going to take in the grand finals, which is a cold line. I liked it a lot. But speaking of Slash, I think we asked you this question at LAIC on stage potentially, but if you want to give any more in depth to it, you can. How's it been to work with Slash again? And then, of course, how's it been adding Trainer to the roster? I mean, you and Kyrios have played together for forever, but Otter being a new addition and then bringing Slash back in. I mean, it is quite a different LG roster, even though there are familiar faces on it. So, have you kind of evened out the roster change thing now? What are we looking at?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was, I mean, working, like with people that I consider like probably like my closest friends.
Mhm.
Seen, people that I've known for like multiple years, been on teams with for multiple years. It definitely helps. Because I feel like a lot of times like every team is gonna get into like arguments. You're not always gonna agree over everything.
Mhm.
I feel like everyone's like so close. They know like you're not like you were never like taking anything personal. Like we never really like get off or like get off for the day like mad at each other. We always like
Yeah.
fix things or come to like a conclusion or like the same like solution after everything's done.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, just being able to work with like just being teammates with people that are just insanely like close friends with is just a blessing for sure.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely shows in
Mhm.
the roster this year, and yeah, you and Trainer have been so fun to watch. It's just
True.
insane. Um, Speaking of the team, do you guys have like any like outside sources, or is everything like kind of coming from the five of you? Like, are you like each other's coaches and like analysts, or do you have like any kind of like, I don't want, third party or someone helping?
I mean, for the most part, it's mainly like us doing a lot of like the VOD reviews and stuff. We do have like an analyst that does a lot of like like the like getting other teams' APIs, seeing where like teams are playing,
Right.
what like people are doing. But yeah, a lot of us, I mean, especially like Otter and me, I guess a little bit. We Slash as well. We're always just on like API, in like other regions, looking at like what people are playing and like seeing, like maybe Japan figure out the super broken character of the patch.
Uh-huh.
And Otter's is always the one on I mean, Otter always is like, I feel like every month he just shows up with like a new character, like a
Yeah.
new build
Yes.
that, like nobody knew about, and like he would just like show up to scrims one day and just be like, man, this character in ranked has like a 57% win rate. It just has to be OP. It was like I remember for NIC, I think it was like Surf Hurricane Cram. Like
Oh
when he
yeah.
played it, everyone was just like, this guy just has to be trolling. Like this moveset's just not good. And he's like, bro, this moveset in ranked has like a 58% rate. It just has to be OP. And after regionals, like every team was spamming it. It was insane.
That's hilarious. I remember all of us being like, it's a good move set. None of us knew it, but Otter certainly knew. It was good. Okay, let's talk actually a little bit about Otter's wild picks, because during the qualifier tournament, Husky and Kyle were doing a stream. I joined a little bit to do a bit of commentary over some teams that were playing. I think this was already after you had qualified. I joined a little bit later in the day, and Husky and I were at odds. I said Mewtwo Y EXP share is bait. Husky was all in on it, and there we go. LG has to win the whole damn tournament on it. So, what are your honest thoughts on the Mewtwo Y EXP share? Is it good, or is it just Otter that makes it good? What are we looking at?
I mean, I definitely think it's solid.
Yeah.
I know, like Asia specifically they stopped going like the full attack speed build.
Mm-hmm.
They started going, I think, like double AP items for just having your side strikes just do crap ton of damage, just blow up everyone.
Right.
And that's
Mhm.
kind of like fits really well with the XP share Mewtwo because you're not really farming that fast, right? You're not really farming very fast or like well. You just want to be at every fight,
Mm-hmm.
just chucking out side strikes, chucking out a ton of damage. And I mean, it definitely fits Otter's playstyle for sure. I mean, he loves the attacker supports. He feels
Mhm.
like he has a lot of agency on those characters. But honestly, we never really like practiced it or played it. I'm like dead ass. I'm pretty sure we were like waiting for our game, and they were like playing like a trio queue game for warm up, and he just like picked it. And he was like, "Wait, I could just like this is kind of OP in support." And then like internally, he's just like, "Yo, pick BTY for me. Let me play it." I'm like, "Okay, I mean, sure, I guess." Yeah, I mean, he did really well on it. So
Interesting. Okay, and so you drop the attack speed items too, because you were playing that with no Blissey. That was like the one
Yeah.
thing I was like, okay, maybe we like Blissey tank, like Mewtwo. I support this to kind of, but no Blissey. We're just hitting with side strike. Okay, interesting. Bridget, we still got a decent amount of time left for this, so why don't we adjust the rapid fire section into just normal questions? It's probably better.
Okay, fine. No, these are good. These all warrant deep discussion.
That is true. That is true.
So-
Yeah, I'm gonna call this section Overlord instead the nonsense questions that we'll ask you. We got some good ones. This one isn't. I'm gonna start this one. It's not exactly nonsense, but I watch a lot of professional Call of Duty, and one of my favorite questions that they talk about, a lot of those players talk about, is who's the hardest kill in the lobby in the league. So in North America, who's the hardest player to kill? Like, who is the most annoying player that is so hard to take down? They're ratty or they're just straight up good. Like, who's the hardest kill in NA?
Hardest killing A, man. That's a good question. Um,
You can't say you for
Honestly-
this specifically. It's someone else you have to
Yeah.
play against. Yeah.
honestly, if it was like a year or two years ago, I would have said Otter. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
Otter back then was like one of the most annoying attackers to kill because he would always play his life very well.
Right.
Like recently, that's a tough. Maybe I would just have to go with maybe I just have to go with Zug. Honestly,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Zug, obviously he's like playing like the defender characters. They're like naturally, a lot more tankier, but he plays his life well. He plays around his resources and his cooldowns very well. It's definitely tough to kill him. All the times he'll just like one man army hold his bot pad while we're trying to push. It's like unkillable sometimes.
Boss Doug. Scary.
He's a demon.
is.
Like he's like the most pragmatic player to me.
Yeah.
This is about Zugrug, but okay, this one's very important. Lane Cinder or Lane Greninja?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of both, honestly.
I thought so.
Honestly, I'm a big Lane Cinder fan.
Okay.
I'm a big advocate for Lane Cinder. I think it's good.
Okay, what's your quick elevator pitch for Lane Cinder? What makes it so good? Why is it a good pick?
I lose early game, but you win late game. So
All right, there you go.
Honestly,
exchange of
answer.
goods and services. Okay, this was a question I asked people to send in questions on Twitter. We received no legitimate questions and only troll
Oh.
questions. So here is one. If you had to only pick one Pokemon to play for the rest of your career in the game, and it might not be a long one with these options, would you rather play only Blastoise or only Espeon?
Man, I don't have the greatest history with Espeon. Probably Blastoise.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
fair
probably
enough.
have to
That's funny.
stick with Blast.
Okay, good. Well, you said you needed to work on your top laner defender, so this is good.
Yeah.
There we go. It's growth.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously, guys just went to Brazil for LAIC, which I'm very, very jealous of. It sounded amazing. If you could pick any city to play Unite in, what would it be?
Honestly, maybe Tokyo is definitely up there for sure.
So cool.
Like being able to
Ooh.
play just in
Mhm.
Japan again. I'm actually not sure where ACL is, but I think it's
I was
somewhere
just-
down there.
Tokyo, I think.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I might actually be Tokyo.
Yeah.
dreams do
Um,
come true.
Yeah, crazy. It's like, anyway, I gotta book the flights, but I think there.
Yeah, I guess if it isn't Tokyo, then yeah, that'll definitely be pretty.
Yeah, ACL's Tokyo finals, yeah.
Honestly, other
Sick.
than that, maybe somewhere like Shanghai or somewhere in like
Cool.
China. I think it'd be really
Oh, yeah.
the Chinese version coming out.
Yeah, it sounds like a very real possibility in the next couple of years.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Oh,
That would be
Shanghai
sick.
sick. That might be my option. I've always said I think a land for Pokemon in South Korea would be so cool.
Yeah, that would.
Like
I was
that's my
thinking
number
Seoul,
one.
Yeah.
Another one is it is a bit of a homer pick for me. I think Vancouver or Toronto would make for an
Mhm.
awesome location. Like I think a Canada one would be sick too. But Seoul, Korea, I think would take the cake, and Japan again also
Seoul
great.
Korea.
That'd be sweet. Okay,
Right.
so you're one of the last bastions of this Pokemon. Why Blue Bear and not Red Bear? Everybody else is going with Dark Bear. Why are you on the Wet Bear?
Honestly, I just really enjoy like Blue Bear's playstyle.
Yeah.
I think it just really fits well with what the role I kind of play on the team now. I kind of think
Okay.
it fits that role very well. But yeah, I'm still like a big fan of Red Bear. I'll definitely play it if it looks good that game. But
Okay.
Blue Bear is kind of I don't know. I think it's like definitely still kind of a sleeper pick. Like,
Okay.
the games where it's good, I feel like it's just unstoppable in those kind of games. It
Sick.
kind of reminds me of like season 1, I guess, Aegis Slash in a way. Like
Oh,
you wouldn't like I feel like you
Ooh.
wouldn't play Aegis Slash every game.
right.
Like the games where you play Aegis Slash, it would feel like completely unstoppable the entire game.
Okay, that's a great example. Now you got Trainer on the team who could do that too. That's great. Okay.
You can do both. Make swing streams come true. Okay, Zoinks already asked you this before the show started because he actually could not wait to find out. But why Night Slash on Absol?
Yeah, for like was basic answer I guess as well as I just think I'm just a better at Night Slash than I am at Pursuit.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Night Slash because it allows you to kind of like do damage and while also being like very safe because you're not auto attacking them as much. I guess if that makes sense, you're kind of like you can dash you a Night Slash and then dash out while doing a lot of damage.
Mm.
But it also Night Slash is one of the abilities that hasn't been like it's sustained on level 11 hasn't been touched like since the game came out, and it has like insane sustain. And like a lot of our comps don't really have healers, so playing mons with like innate sustain, just being able to stay on the map is very nice.
Right.
But yeah, I mean other than that, like Night Slash is like very very good at I guess like tank busting.
Okay.
So when we play Psycho Cut with Night Slash Absol, a lot of times we'll like kind of like front to back and we'll just like blow up their tanks one by one.
Mm. Watch out for no supports, but Overlord equipping Drain Crown on Night Slash Absol next tournament.
That's the next step.
Overlord's like, enough is enough. I need heals. I gotta do it myself. Okay, this is a bit of a rapid fire question. Right now in this metagame, do you like first pick in draft or do you like second pick better?
Definitely first pick. First
Cool.
pick is insane right now, I think.
No. I
Fair,
agree.
fair.
I think first pick is insane all the time. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's been a single meta that I'm like, yeah, second pick here. I like first pick always, but that's good to hear.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, what do you think is the scariest Western region, probably outside of NA?
I'd say probably maybe like LAN, I'd say.
Yeah.
Really?
I think Latin North has a good amount of like I think they're also like in a similar boat with NA where they have like, 4 top teams.
Yeah. They got
Like,
like a big 3 down there too, I think.
Yeah, they
Potentially,
have
you could make an
a lot
argument
of,
for
a lot
4.
of good teams.
Mhm.
Yeah. They have a lot of teams like, be the best team in that region on any given day. I feel like, with like Europe, you have nouns, but other than nouns, I'm not like too familiar with a lot of the teams.
Sure.
Obviously, I think they have like a like Gen 5, I think is like a good French team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A good amount of like the teams I've never really like it's like my first time seeing the players, I guess. I recognize some names, but a lot of them it's like my first time recognizing or like seeing those names.
Cool.
And then I guess like Brazil as well. I think
Yeah.
Brazil's been pretty flip flop with like Tuzzy and DreamHax, right?
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, bigly.
they've been like going back and forth, like winning and whatnot. But those
Mhm.
like, Brazil's very top heavy for sure. And LAS, you have Fusion, and I think actually there's a team that beat.
Yeah,
can't
Yadarasu
remember
or
the
something. It's like
Yeah,
Gohan's
yeah.
team, right? Like
Yeah,
Gohan's like
Gohan.
won
Yeah,
2
that's what-
tournaments.
That's what I've just been calling them, honestly.
Right, Gohan's team.
Just Gohan's team. but
Yeah.
I think they won the last like 2 tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they look good too. I don't know. It's exciting. Yeah, no longer Fusion. Now they're Peru, which is a bummer.
Yeah, oh,
it's too
yeah,
bad. But actually, that'll be kind of the last question I have. So, but before we let you go here, Overlord, you have now been with the LG brand since what, like year 2 at some point? Like you
Yeah.
guys were maybe the beginning of it. You've been with LG for a long time. You want to just talk about like what's the benefit of being with an org? Has that been like a really cool thing for you guys? Like, yeah, just talk about like Luminosity a little bit.
yeah, I mean they've honestly like been a fantastic sponsor for us.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously like the benefits they help with like travel costs and whatnot. Traveling to all the lands and whatnot, and just just being able to like rep the brand of like Luminosity is just also very cool because they're a pretty like established org
Yeah.
in esports. Just being able to play under the name is very cool. But yeah, I mean they've been super like understanding, and they like really like sympathize with like everything that's been going on. Especially like last year.
Cool.
We kind of had like a rough patch last year, but they still like during this offseason, they still believed in us. They talked to me, like had me like give them my thoughts on like everything, and what like the new potential team could be and everything.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean they've been like fantastic for us. They've been fantastic for the scene as well.
Yeah.
The LG server and whatnot. But that'd been great.
Cool. Yeah, that's been fantastic. I think Luminosity, it's like Luminosity and Nouns are the two big Western orgs that have just like invested so much into this game, and it's just like, I don't know, it's really awesome. I hope that the community shows its thanks in a big way, and you guys do a pretty good job of pumping them up as well with the tournament titles like you guys are winning. So, Overlord, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna wish you the best of luck in the bajillion tournaments you have coming up. I think there's another month.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna play in the next monthly, or are you gonna like go to London early? Like, what's the game plan there? Do you?
Yeah, I think we're gonna be able to play in. Yeah, we're gonna be able to play in February.
Okay.
And I think there's another one like early in March that we'll be able to play. I think it's like the final stretch qualifiers.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like the final
that's-
stretch
that's-
qualifiers. Yeah.
That's the big one. And
Okay.
then I think the only month we'll be missing would be March because I'm pretty sure it's during.
Yeah. It's
ACL.
the same weekend as the
The
Asian
same-
Champions
yeah,
League
it's
finals.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
But at
that
least
one's
it's not the
bummer.
qualifier for NAIC.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, you that is a marathon stretch of tournaments. That'll be crazy. But the silver lining is you get to go to Japan, so that'll be pretty
Yeah,
sick.
that'd be worth it.
Sounds good. Okay, Overlord. Before you bounce, anything you want to shout out, plug? Where can people watch you, follow you, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I'm basically just Overlord 98 on all socials, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Hopefully, I'll be able to stream on YouTube again because I had the whole, like getting striked for reuse content, my own content, I guess, on YouTube.
Why?
Um,
YouTube's
but-
the word. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, the whole situation is interesting. But yeah, I'm definitely, I haven't been super active recently, but I plan, to stream a lot. I planned, I think it'd be very cool to, stream maybe some fives or solo queue in Japan. And kind
Yeah.
of, let people
Heck.
see, how ranked is in Japan. The myth that everyone's talking about with that ranked. and everything.
Yeah, ask
Yeah.
Fraggles about that. We queued up immediately as soon as we all met up, and he was like so upset. He's like, "This
Aw.
is trash." Like they're all just playing like Mewtwo,
Yeah,
Iblissi the
everything
whole
that was
time,
hyped
like
up to be-
Zacian Comfey every game. He's like, "This is
Yeah.
crap." But yeah, it was quite funny, but awesome. All right, make sure everybody tune into those. Check out Overlord wherever he's at, and yeah, good luck on the YouTube stuff too, my fan. But otherwise, thank you so much, Overlord. You can get out of here. Bridget and I are gonna be sticking around for a little bit through the rest of the episode, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Perfect, yeah.
Overlord.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Later.
All right, chat. Thank you so much to Overlord for doing an interview. Really cool to hear from him on a lot of different spots. The Blue Bear pick makes a lot of sense to me, and also a lot of love to Latin America North. I've been saying the same thing. Latin America North
Yeah.
looking fire. So that's good. I have a long history of gassing up Latin America North and them not following up with it at the tournaments that I do the gassing up on. So I really hope that can change, specifically at EUIC upcoming rather soon. But, we'll see.
I believe in them this year. I think they've been pretty exciting to watch, at least in their showings I've seen thus far. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah, me too. All right, I'm going to just make this smaller. The rest of the episode is still going to have the same title. Why not?
We're clickbaiting.
It's actually kind of true. We're the best at clickbaiting. Okay, everybody who's hanging out, we're still going to do the rest of the Overdunk podcast, just at a little interview segment to kick us off, which is awesome. But I want to start the show with a little bit of housekeeping. This week, I am honestly, truly going to put in the grind to get the podcast videos, the general content videos, because all of the fundraising content we made during the Unite Makes Charity Classic and stuff is like all recorded and good to go up. So watch the YouTube channel this week and next. You're going to be getting a ton of uploads. A lot of it older stuff, but also just like some cool content and stuff like that. It's going to be going up, as well as the Spotify feed. So it's going to be a bit overwhelming for people who are subscribed to those things, but just like weather the storm, we're getting it out there finally. So we hope you enjoy that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
Hey.
Oh, wait, Rex saying he's back with Nem and Vin? Okay. Lit.
I'm
Okay.
sad.
Sweet. Guess we'll see you at EUIC. That sounds great.
Is February Cup before EUIC?
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
have another. It's like the final weekend of January, technically. I think it's like January 30th or
Oh,
something.
I
is,
see.
is the date of the event. But yes, there is another monthly before EUIC. So
Okay,
we'll
just
be gaming.
curious.
Yeah, that's actually going to be an interesting tournament for roster changes because obviously sounds like Rex is jumping back into the mix here in NA. Also, that's when Ender is supposed to be starting his EU career with Nouns Esports. And I've also been told, in the February Cup. And I've also been told that I think Wrecker is like stateside right now and is going to be playing on Kiss Kiss. So, like, I think he's here for university. But like January was like he wasn't here for long enough for like to qualify to play for NAIC. So
I love the diplomatic exchanges of players.
I know, yeah. We sent over Ender, we receive Wrecker, and hey, with the Absol meta the way it is, I think not a terrible thing for NA. Oh man. Okay, well, we got a few things to talk about, Bridget. One thing I feel like the last few episodes we've been talking so much about is we have been discussing rank changes and things like that, and I feel like we have a new arc in the new ranked matchmaking changes. So this is the arc where all of the good players on Twitter for the past week have been tweeting about how amazing ranked has been. Have you noticed this?
The big one I saw was Slash.
So Slash tweeted about it. I believe I saw Mountain Mew talking about it as well. There was like a few others, and genuinely the consensus I'm gathering from a lot of players who are talking about it is if you can make it out of ELO hell, which is essentially 1200 to 1600, you start getting matched with players who are roughly at your skill level, and the players who were at your skill level 1600 plus also were forged in the fires of ELO hell. So you're getting good games after that point, which is exciting and a weird proof that technically this new system is working. It's just, again, and I do not want to go on this rant again, but it is just the system is essentially creating ELO hell for the first time that we have ever had, which is a bit of a bummer. So that is going to have to change. Oh, wait, also, Lutano's on the Orange Juicer sub slot for EUIC. That's fun.
I did see that.
Oh,
Let's go.
That's cool.
He's back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the queen of ELO hell. I will be sitting comfortably in that 1200, 1600 range, I think, for the rest of my life, and I've accepted that. I'm okay with that. It is interesting hearing what it's like on the other side, and does make me a bit more hopeful. However, won't we just be thrusted back into this and
that's the thing.
About a day?
And that's the thing that I have been talking about for so long, is if it just resets everyone back to Ultra, it is an absolutely meaningless system. And it is so ridiculous. Okay, our chat's saying that EU ladder is not that way, by the way. People are saying that, well, EU's player base is just not large enough, most likely, for this. So that is likely what we're looking at. But that is really, really interesting. Drop Great Vet Ultra altogether then. Yeah, Asmin, that is an option. I've always said my favorite option is if you make it to 1600, drop you down to 1400, and so on and so forth. If you are in the 12 to 1300 range, then you go back to Ultra. If you're 1300 to 1400 range, you go back to 1200. Like, let's just make
that would
the
be
reset
probably the easiest.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just make the reset phase of a new ranked season just a lot less aggressive. I feel like that is that encourages players who grinded and got to that 1600 and are now in that good player space to just kind of continue with the same amount of players. I actually think my favorite way was when we originally started talking about this is you implement for the first time placement games. Which is essentially not resetting, just giving everyone the illusion of resetting. But hey, it makes players happy, and I think it would pay off. But
I'm down for placebo effect.
Oh, so down for placebo effect. Sick. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, I think that's our ranked matchmaking talk. We've talked about it on so many episodes at this point. I know those are nowhere. They're in the ether because we haven't uploaded them onto YouTube or Spotify in a minute, but it's
they're
okay.
On Twitch,
they're on Twitch for 30 days.
Yes,
but yes,
God.
that is where to check them out. But anyway, that is our ranked matchmaking talk. Should we talk a little bit about January Cup, Bridget?
Yes, I'd love to.
Okay. First and foremost, I think the biggest thing we're going to do is holy W Steel Agent Kyle and Husky Star. Oh my word. So for anyone who doesn't know, unfortunately, Spraggles and Dupe Snacks were not able to be on commentary for this January Cup tournament, and so substitutes were needed, and Steel Agent Kyle and Husky Star answered the call. A lot in part, I think, I don't know, but a lot in part it felt like, because both Dupe Snacks and Spraggles vouched for them heavy. And they did an incredible. I think they stepped up to the plate so well. They absolutely crushed it, even more so when you consider it's their first time, and their notice of doing so was unbelievably short. So really, really proud of those two. I hope we get to see them on more official broadcasts. They really did well.
Yeah.
And Swim, to answer your question, yep, Dupe is totally all right. No worries for Dupe Snacks. Just wasn't able to make it, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't name a more perfect duo to fill that spot. Like, they're just so outstanding. I'm big fans of both of them, and so I mean, and I think the community in general was really excited to see them in that role too. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like it was just a dub for everyone. It felt like, other than Spraggles and Dupe Snacks.
Right. And
sorry.
No, it does. Yeah. No, it does hurt to not see Spraggles and Dupe Snacks there. Of course, like, they're so good. Like, they're the goats for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. So
I don't
it's
want to
totally
celebrate their downfall by any means, but
exactly. And this is a lesson for communities in esports as a whole. It is so okay and easy to gas up people's accomplishments without tearing down others losing jobs. You know what I mean? Like, it is okay to be so happy for people and not be like, not doing whatever. It's totally okay. You don't need to be like, well, how come my favorite caster's not doing it? I hate that person. It's like, you don't have to do that. Just cheer on your people's W's when they get them. That is exactly the place to do it. New episode of ma'am.
That's a banger.
That's insane, considering the context. But anyway. Okay. All right. But anyway, that's my gas for them. Any gas for many more gas for Kyle and Husky, Bridget?
They're just great. I mean, they were literally streaming all day on Saturday covering the open qualifiers, which don't have the official broadcast, and then doing the official broadcast the entire like, they had an insane weekend, and they crushed it. Yeah.
You also crushed it on that qualifier broadcast, by the way.
Thank you.
You were having a lot of fun out there, it sounded like, so that's great.
Yeah, I got to cast with Ribbon for the first time.
That's
we
great.
had a lot of fun. Yeah. She was it was cool.
Ribbon's a great commentator.
I know. I just love getting to hear other people, what I'm noticing about the game, and then hear what the other person is noticing. I don't know. It's such a fun back and forth. I've been really enjoying getting to try out some casting lately. It's crazy.
It's fun. Bridget caster arc is pretty epic. I feel like anybody who just hangs around Unite mics long enough is like, maybe I should do casting.
Yeah.
Dupe Snacks and Zoinks are not that good. I could probably do what they do.
Do that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought.
Not hard. And then
that was my path.
Perfect. That's good to hear. Well, yeah, you've been doing great over there. Okay, we talked about it a little bit in the Overlord interview, but January Cup was a really fun tournament for meta, I feel like. We had a lot of interesting stuff. My heart broke because Celestial did not play the Tinkaton, and he played it so much during qualifiers, so I was baffled when we didn't see it on main broadcast. I was honestly so sad, but it's okay. We saw a bunch of other stuff. Absol was all over the place. It felt like the defining factor of the grand finals. Between Orange Juicers and Luminosity Gaming. They literally were going back and forth who was going to either first or second pick Absol. It was so wild to see. Overlord brought out Lane Cinderace at one moment. Otter was putting a light bulb on anything that could press the A button. It was I don't know, it was kind of bananas out there. So was there any meta game moment, Bridget, that you think in particular was really cool or fun or maybe even bad? Anything like that?
I would say the thing I was probably most excited about was Alolan Ninetales kind of shining and getting a little more of a spotlight this past tourney, because I feel like it's super strong. This meta is so broadly still, it feels like that is never ever going to change, and especially with Ninetales getting that passive buff a couple patches ago, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it is just, I just felt like it was able to shine a bit. I'm not sure how much it was played later in the tourney, but I felt like whenever I did see it pop out, I was pretty excited, and it did really well.
Yeah. It's carving out a niche for itself in some really cool ways. I really like the Alolan Ninetales. We saw a little bit of the Chandelure too, and I kind of consider those two to be in very similar roles, right? Like Alolan Ninetales and Chandelure, they're both about that mid-range attacker. They don't have a ton of long range, but they do a ton of damage from mid-range. They both kind of have anti-dive abilities, like both of their Unite moves are very good anti-dive, and then they each kind of have one good get off me with Imprison or either Avalanche, right? But I feel like Alolan Ninetales is just the far superior option when you're considering the drafting phase right now.
Yeah, I mean,
if the other team was a Blaziken, maybe you get enough value out of the Chandelure to make it work. Like, we saw some, like, crazy moments. Like, I can think of a few, but I think in the end, that Chandelure didn't win. You know, so it's like, it was some really cool spot highlights of that Pokemon, but it, like, didn't quite count what we needed to. So, I think Chandelure is one of those picks. Like, Alolan Ninetales looked great, Chandelure did not. So like in those two roles, we're starting to see a little bit of evidence, which I think is cool. The teams are willing to experiment and find stuff out, but like we're finding out at unfortunate times. But what else were we really seeing a lot of that was seeing some more success? Flareon's was playing a ton of Espeon again. Which we did not see too much of.
Researched a little. I can send you the poker stats if you want to see them. I have them up.
Yeah.
We also did get to see some Psyduck. Definitely way more Psyduck than I maybe expected. But I loved getting to see Psychic. I think that is such like a good like, especially in like a 5-stack setting, like being able to manipulate where they go when you do hit them with the Psychic and the plays I can set up. I don't think I saw anything that I was like, I don't know, like pogging out at, but I love Psyduck, and I think it is still very strong.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so if anybody's wondering its stats, thank you so much for sending them over, Bridget. Psyduck was picked a total of 13 times in the top 8 of the bracket, had a 61.9% pick rate then, and it had a 69.2% win rate. So one of the highest on the leaderboard. You know what did have the highest on this leaderboard? Alolan Ninetales. So great call out, Bridget. It was absolutely
looked at these stats before.
You know what is? I have been on the Umbreon is fraud alert for maybe a little too long. Shaking my fist at North America as they have now broken that completely wide open. Umbreon with the exact same pick rate as Psyduck, being also 13 picks at 76.9% win rate. So Umbreon absolutely stomping out here. Blastoise, I think everyone kind of expected this was going to be a popular pick. It was the most picked Pokemon in the top 8. 85% pick rate, 55.6% win rate. So very, very, very solid. Snorlax, 33% picker. So picked 7 times total. So this is a very, 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 very small sample size. But the percentage, even being this low, I think is worth mentioning at a 28.6% win rate. A like tragically low win rate for Snorlax this week. Mega bummer to see.
I know, and I feel like Snorlax was kind of gaming pretty hard in December, I believe. So it's interesting because I know we've had like patches since then, but they don't feel like too like all meta changing to me. But I feel like the Blastoise buff, Umbreon is at large. I do feel like Blissey was banned quite a bit, so maybe that's why the Umbreon was shining a bit more, perhaps. Honestly, Mamoswine is also kind of a surprise to me, because I feel like whenever I saw it, it was not thriving, but according to our in top 8 at least, it was picked 9 times with a 66% win rate, so much better than Snorlax.
Yeah. So here's my theory on the Snorlax Mamoswine differential. I think Mamoswine will thrive always in a brawl focused metagame when we're seeing a lot more melee, and Snorlax will kind of do the opposite. Will actually thrive a little bit more towards poke style compositions, which I think we were seeing so much more Charge Beam Miraidon make it through in drafts before, right? Miraidon, even a few other, like we saw some rare Gardevoir, I guess, things like that, but mostly Miraidon is what we were looking at. Even more Mew is another one too. And Snorlax works really, really well. Felt like we were seeing some great plays there. Even you could just like totally block out. It can ignore a lot of that poke damage, which is really, really nice for Snorlax. But Mamoswine just ice fanging a Saraledge in your face, or ice fanging a an Urshifu or something like that is pretty incredible in so many scenarios. So I think that's why we're seeing that differential. Chat was reminding me of it, and this was actually one I wanted to talk about before we got onto it. It might not be taking over the entire metagame, but all eyes were on Roland Sableye in this tournament. I mean, I think it's probably one of the major reasons they won the winners finals against Luminosity Gaming in that tournament, and it was so fun to watch. I mean, the invades were absolutely picture perfect. The stuns from the Sableye were crazy, and we were seeing some really cool combinations. By far, my favorite was Kratos on Absol. Do you know what I'm about to say here? When the Sableye boosted auto would fear at enemy target, Kratos was like right there. An immediate pursuit into the Pokemon that was trying to retreat and get just that guaranteed backsmack double damage from Absol. So wild, such a cool play. So really, 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 really awesome to see from Roland. Was making it look great, and then obviously the teamwork between these two players is huge. Also, huge thank you to Spraggles for the giant raid. Hope you had a great stream, my friend. We also got a raid earlier in the stream from Toon as well. So thank you.
Big shout outs. Yeah. Roland is just, I feel like every time I get to watch him play, like my jaw's on the floor. He is so good. I think there was even a time where he feared the Mirai.
Ooh, Bridget, I'm so sorry. I think I lost your mic a little bit. So all right. Unfortunately, I think we lost Bridget's microphone there just for a moment. She'll reconnect in just a moment. I'm sure she'll let me know when she's back. But as soon as she is back, we'll get into this. But sorry, guys. Oh, Bridget, you back? Oh no, we might have hit the internet issue right now. That's okay. I will. Oh, all right. I'll just do that for now. Yeah, the Sprinkles dive. Cool. Okay, so sorry everybody. I would continue. Yeah, Sprinkles. How could you? Honestly, how could you? Bridget, you back?
I think so.
Perfect.
Sorry, I don't really know what happened.
No, it's all good. You said the cursed word Miraidon, and we lost you. So
yeah, I was talking about how cool it was that he feared the Miraidon and it made him miss his charge beam.
yes, I know exactly the moment you were talking about. That was
so
sick. Oh my gosh, it was. I don't know. Roland is incredible, and I think we have to have like. I don't know, I don't know if we have to have this conversation, but I want to have this conversation. I feel like when Orange Juicers is brought up, we talk about them as a unit. They have players like Zugrug, who historically is one of like the most well-known players in the region. You have a player like Flareons, who was like one of the hottest new talents to join the league last year. You have OG, who, like during their time was the best on a few certain Pokemon, right? Kratos, who I feel like has been the story of like the underrated junglers in the region. Like, I don't know, across the board, you have so much talent, but it feels like to me, it started at the World Championships last year and has kind of been continuing this year. It feels like Roland's stealing the show on this team. Like, it feels like Roland has become the, like, star player around Orange Juicers. Are you in line with this? Like, it feels like they have become, like, I would consider Roland to be, like, the face of Orange Juicers right now.
Yeah, he is the guy who likes to do the interviews too, and like.
And he's just so good. I love them.
And when he does the interview, like he's like the biggest smile on his face. Like it's just so like he's so likable, and I obviously love to play support, so I'm always kind of like looking at the support players, and he's just like, I don't know, it's like hard to describe, but it's just like. He's just like making plays that like my brain doesn't even like comprehend. Like his micro, I'm just like. You're a demon. Like, that's always just what I'm thinking when I'm watching him.
Yeah, it's sick. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it comes from grinding Unite or Brawl Stars, whichever it is. The mechanics are on lock, and he's ready to go. So it's really sick. But But Overlord mentioned it in the interview, like North America, like we got a lot of really incredible teams. It feels like we have a big three kind of pulling away from the rest of the champs, you know, that we have so far, the Nemesis, Orange Juicers, and Luminosity Gaming. I think there's a few other teams you could definitely, I think like Kiss Kiss and maybe even T3 are teams you could definitely consider. That T3 is tough though, with that one performance last month not making it to top 8, you know, like it's kind of a bit of a detractor. But so you know, like they're a great team. Like it's so easy to know they are a great team, like on paper. It's just like I don't know if I can put them in like the big 4. But no, Kuzi, I ain't hating on Segment. I was going to include them, just don't surrender.
Hey.
Yeah.
They're
But anyway.
new guys.
No, I actually think Segment looks great. I am do you guys have an official roster yet? What's going on? It looks like you're like looking for 2 every tournament. Once you guys lock in an official 5, then we'll see. But anyway, it's cool to see that North America's got like a really strong top end, but like the right below that, like the teams are still hungry and really exciting. It seems like anybody can win a North American top 8 for sure. So I think it's absolutely sick. Yeah. Any more thoughts regarding metagame from January Cup that we want to talk about? We talked about no ticketon. We talked about how good a lot of the picks were. Talked about how bad Chandelure was. I think it's like the only pick I talked about not being good. I don't know if there's any others, but
It's so hard because I do feel like there were actually so many like Mons played. I'm trying to think of like standouts, but I don't know. It kind of just felt it was just really dependent on the draft and the players, like obviously, but it didn't really feel like one thing or another was like too dominant.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It feels like there's like a decent amount of experimentation to work with still, which is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. These metagames, I know these patches have been getting a lot of flack, these widespread ones. I think the last one was mostly universally positively liked.
Yes.
The last one. But I know they are changing the competitive landscape still, which is cool. And obviously, I think we are at the life cycle point of Unite where things are just getting changed subtly to the point where we don't need huge, big shifts sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, we just need expert level players to be like, yo, I am so good on this pick that I can crush it. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I prefer the like more minor tweaking to like the totally buffing, totally nerfing. Right. Typically, unless it's like
we're kind of black sheep in terms of the content world on that here on the podcast, but it's okay. I totally agree. We're obviously a podcast that focuses on the competitive side of things, and I think that benefits the comp side of things too. So we'll see. I don't know if we have time, or rather if we are prepared enough to have a big ACL talk this week, because that's okay. The Asia Champions League regular season has concluded. So, if you have been struggling and stressing out with every region in the Asia Champions League, it's a slightly different tournament format. It's been super hard to follow. Well, don't worry, the regular season's over, but continue to be worried because their playoffs are different formats for every single region.
Yay!
It is gonna be bananas. But don't worry. I think probably next week. I think actually we should talk about it next week. We will go hard on a preparation for the Asia Champions League regional finals within each region. We're gonna do some of our studying up on a few of the different regions. There's only 3: APAC, India, and Japan. And we'll start learning a little bit about those squads, and then we'll see. Oh, Dexter let me know that India and Japan have one more day of league play before playoffs. That's good to know. I definitely thought Japan was like for sure over, but good to know that it is.
Yeah, I just have in my calendar that ACL playoffs are the 25th. So
cool.
Probably like our Friday night, you know.
Sweet. Okay. Well, we got a bit of time to prep.
Yes. Yeah. So next week we can definitely do the pre-ACL playoffs.
Ooh, fun. Cool. Okay, well, I think that's kind of going to bring us to the end of the episode. Spraggles Raiders, if you came in looking for the Overlord interview, so sorry, it was just the first 30-minute chunk of the episode, but we're going to be uploading this episode to the Unite Monks YouTube eventually, and hopefully this eventually is going to be a lot shorter than normal. So I'm going to be working on it, I promise, New Year's resolutions and all that. We're going to be jumping right into it. So if you want to see the interview, I think it's really cool to hear from Overlord. You can see it there. So check out the YouTube. But any other shout outs that you would want to give, Bridget, before we get on out of here?
I believe there's gonna be an Underdunk tourney this Thursday on Steel Agent Kyle's channel.
Mhm.
I'm not casting, but I'm definitely probably
What?
gonna be watching. I know. I don't respond fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle also puts all of his tourney VODs on YouTube as well under the
True.
same name. If you do want to go back and watch January Cup or any other Underdunks that are hosted on his channel. So shout out Kyle. Shout out Husky. I'm just big fans. Husky's YouTube's also great. She's probably putting out like the best Unite YouTube content. Sorry to everyone else who's doing it.
Yeah, she's crushing it. It's really fun.
She's crushing it, yeah.
Very informative stuff to watch. Very just like, yeah, enjoyable. So awesome. Good stuff out there. Okay.
Oh yeah, we're getting Galarian Rapidash soon, so that'll be fun.
That is true. Galarian Rapidash very soon, which everyone is just going to call horse, and it makes my heart so sad. Bit of a
No,
bummer there.
We're horse girls.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of our episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this one to check out the interview, our January Cup talk. And thanks to those of you who tuned into either the open qualifiers for January Cup on Kyle's channel to watch Bridget cast or tuned in on the main broadcast on Sunday to watch me cast. It has been a blast. We will see you all next week. We're going to be talking a whole lot of Asia Champions League. So all you Asia Champions League heads, you better show up. We'll see y'all there next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.